everybody, this is Pramita here, and this is the second part of constructing the cover. If you have not yet watched the first part, then I advise that you go and see the first part, and then you can be able to understand or comprehend this part way better. Even before I start this process, I just want to thank every subscriber of mine, new and old, and there have been so many new subscribers. I'm so thankful to this because during lockdown period, life is so crazy and isolated that it's these virtual people and their virtual love that keeps us going. So thank you everybody for staying with me, and this is going to be the second part whereby I'm going to do the collage on the cover and the inside cover also. So in the first part I have just stitched this, and what I'm going to do for collage is I'm going to use some book pages, and there's no rhyme or reason for choosing this. So as you will see that I am using some old dictionary pages. I did have a ruler out here and now I can't seem to find it. So I have this dictionary page, and I'm going to use this tiny ruler. This side has a serrated edge, slightly serrated edge, not much, and so it gives a kind of cool effect. Not those huge jaggedy ones, because this paper is pretty flimsy and so much better for collaging. Now I am using a homemade PVA solution for this. There are numerous tutorials or process of how you can make your own decoupage glue, and I don't want to go into the details of how you can make them, because they are pretty simple and it's just a ratio of PVA glue and water. So I'm just going to start layering things up. So this is going to be the first layer, and so I'm just going to lay this up. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just going to do as my heart feels like, or as I feel deemed, you can say. In my previous ones I have not collaged in this way, but I'm running low on tissue papers, so I thought I'd use some book pages instead. So I'm going to use more music paper. So this is pretty watery, and I can always gunk it up a little bit if I feel that I need to. Now I'm just going to tap this, not press it too hard, because this is pretty flimsy once it gets soaked up with water. So again, I have some this I think is from Amity Bloom, and I have this paper. These are some French ephemera, and I'm going to use this part. So I'm going to use this because I like to use office ephemera a lot. I don't know why, but it seems I'm addicted to them. So I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to cover this up. I also have brought out some doilies if I want to lay them down and to see what I can do with them. So again I'm going to lay some book page over here on this side. So I'm going to take this. So I'm going to take the ruler. Now where did I keep it? Oh my goodness. Okay, so so I'm just going to layer this up. This is pretty watery, as you can see, and I am not worried about that because you'll see how everything will come to shape once I put things down. So again, I'm going to put some office ephemera, you know, this part. I want this word basically, and I hope you can see it. So I'm taking off this word and I'm going to put this down somewhere here. So I want to take this part off also. I don't want this. So I'm going to put this over here. So as you can see, it's taking a loose shape, you can say, but then this is going to be layered more, so I'm not worried. Just tap, 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 you know, because once these papers get wet, they are pretty flimsy and you have to be very gentle when you work with them. So just tap, tap, tap. So now it's looking like this, and what I'll do is I'll put some doily. I have some doily that I want to use, so I'm going to take off. I will have to use my scissors. Okay, so let me see. So I'm going to take this part, and I have used the pinking shears because I want to give this an interesting edge. So I'm going to put the doily around this area, so I hope you can see it. So this will take a while to dry because I live in a very humid country, and right now we are having the monsoon or the rainy season. So this is going to be, it's going to take a while. It's not going to dry quickly, and I'm going to also trim this part. You might not see it much because there will be some images on the cover. So, but I don't know for sure, so you can use it like this. So I'm going to use it like this. So once I put this down, so now I know that this is not going anywhere. So this, I'll have to let this dry totally, and I don't use my drying tool because I found that when it's drying naturally, it dries better in my the climate that I live in. With the drying tool, maybe it's my fault. I can't handle the drying tool better, but I found that when it's drying on its own, it's way better. So this is the kind of cover I will give to this. This is going to be a French themed sort of thing. I can't say that I'll be totally true to the theme, but I have some French themed papers in mind, and I might make that make this journal using them. So keep watching to see how the rest unfolds. So it's like this. So it's going to dry, and then I'm going to come back and put another layer, and it's going to go on like this. So I'm going to turn this side, and I have the other side of the doily. So what I'll do is I'm going to put a little bit of music sheet over here. You can see, because I don't want to keep the craft paper showing too much. Eventually, because these papers are porous, you will see the craft paper, but this is how it's going to look. So I don't think I'll be needing this. Just let me see. No, I don't think I'll be using these, so they go away. And I'm going to put the side of this doily over here. So basically I'm going to just, again I'm going to tap tap tap, no rubbing, because these are very gentle. They become more fragile, as I said, once they get soaked in water and glue, so you have to be very gentle. And I'm just going to let this dry and we'll see what happens to this. So as you can see, if you don't have tissue paper, no worries, you can use book page, you can use doilies, you can even use fabric, because that works too. So you can use that also. So I'm waiting for this to dry, then I'm going to come back and do the inside collage, and I'll show you the updates in between. Hey everybody, this is Pramita here, and I'm back after the cover has dried. And I have in the meantime, what I've done is I've basically collaged on the inside also, and I have completed the front part. As you can see, I have used a coat of collage medium from Rangers Tim Holtz, and I have finished this off. So this is actually right now at the finished size is, I'm just going to give you the dimensions. It's 6 inches, nearly 6 inches by 6.5. So that's how the size works over here. So now I have cut the papers down, and I'm using the Love Paris or Paris kit, I don't know. This is from Antique Papery. This is a retired kit, but I think she has opened a shop where she's selling her retired kits at a very reduced price. So I have this kit that I'm going to use, and I'm going to show you the kit first, but I'm not using all the papers because this is a huge kit, and I'm only using 5 sheets and some ephemera maybe, and I'll do a lot of collages and stuff like that, and I'll probably use some from my stash also, not entirely from this kit. So these are some of the papers. I'm going to go through this very quickly because and there are some images of Eiffel Towers, because this being a Paris kit, but I'm not using those images because I want to keep it French themed, not Paris themed. So this image is probably going to go in on my cover, and I've not done anything other than just deciding on this. So these are some papers. So some more. So I will not be using these. I've already cut the papers down, which I'm going to use, because I don't think that needs any explanation. I will give you the dimensions that I'm using, but of course you can, just check what size your journal is, and then you can decide on the size of the paper. Now when you're making a trifold, you have to keep in mind one thing, that you should not have too much of stuff on the sides, because that makes the closing mechanism a little bit difficult. So what I've done is, now these are the ephemera. This was not in the kit. Unfortunately, this just popped in because I have bought that also. So these are the ephemera that you get in the kit. So I'm just going to go through it very quickly. These are some ATC cards, some coin pockets, some spools, dress forms. So these can be excellent tuck spots and pockets. These are 1.5 inch circle, I think. These are not 2 inches. These, I think you can call them cello or viola or whatever. I'm not sure about the instrument, but it's this. I usually use this in collages. I don't use them as they are. So these are some strips that you get in the kit. And then these are 2-inch squares. You can use them in collage, journaling cards and tags. I usually work like that. So these are some tickets. Just let me arrange them. These are the barcode tag sort of thing you can make. These are pockets. So these pockets here, you can stretch them a little bit. If you trim them from here, if you cut them down and you trim this part as a pocket, you can still use the sides to make narrow tags or pockets or side tags or whatever. So here are the kits. I'm going through this very quickly because otherwise it's going to take a lot of time. So this is how they are. You get a ton of stuff. I think there are 50 sheets in this, so you can make a lot of stuff from these kits. So this is the cut apart portion. Sorry, I just bumped against the camera. So anyways, so here are the papers that I have chosen. I'm just going to go through that very quickly because this is the second time I'm filming this. I don't know my phone memory, because I film enough on my phone and my phone's memory is, I don't know, it's showing it's full, but even though I'm emptying out everything, I'm deleting stuff, it's still not recording properly. So that's a bugger. So I have these papers that I have arranged. So this is vintage botanical book. This is actually a window envelope that I have cut down. You can use your junk mail envelopes also, because at the end of the day we are going to collage on this. So you can use up all your junk stuff if you want to. Now these pages might seem a little bit longer than required. That's because sometimes I create hinges and fold out pockets and stuff like that, so I don't trim them down entirely, all of the pages. I keep them sometimes, just like this one, like I have folded this, the extra part, I have not cut that down, and I've made it into a pocket. So I might do some collage over here and this will be a pocket. So this is another page. And when I'm using a full-size kit like this, I usually make a template of a page, like the size I want, and then I place that on the digital paper and see how much I would require, or which part I require. So this is going to be the middle and the rest follows. So there are lots of half pages. There will be more, because as I work I tend to start adding things up. This is not the final selection. There will be changes coming also. So I will just show you how you can gauge how much you will need. So this is the extra part. I don't need this, so I can I can make them into tags, tucks or hinges or anything of that sort. So I'm going to fold these pages a little bit. So what I'll do is like this one, this is a little bit bigger, so I might fold this. I'm just eyeballing this basically. I don't I don't always follow exact measurements, because I don't know, I don't work well with that. So I've just lined up the paper with the bottom part, and that becomes a fold out page, and this one also, so I can make this into a pocket. This is pretty wide, so I can make this into a puppet. So this one I can, I'm just going to fold this a little bit. This can form like a hinge, I can add some extra pages. So this is not entirely straight. It's okay. So I might trim this page off because I don't need this much. So that's what I decide when I'm going through the pages. This one is a little bit wider, so what I'll do is I'll just check the size and then decide. No, I'm going to keep it that way. So what I'll do is I'll just fill this slightly, just so that I know where I would trim this off. And again, I might fill this page, or again fill this page. So but as you can see, I'm not trimming everything down right away because I don't like to do that, because sometimes what happens is I change my mind, I want to do something, but there's the paper has already been cut down, so that bugs me a lot. So as you can see, there is an irregular waterfall kind of effect, and that's what I like. I like to add irregular stuff. And this I'm going to trim down. This is the middle page, so I'm going to trim this down a little bit. And also you can notice that I have not tea-dyed or coffee-dyed in all the pages, because I don't like that. And even if I do, there will be some muted whitish pages, not entirely white maybe, but this is how it's going to go in. So this is how it's going to go in. So I still have this page that I would want to fold in. So I'm going to just fold these pages, or I can trim these off a little bit because they are really tiny, so I might do that later on. So let me keep it like this, and I will just fold this. To fold this. So just as I said, I change my mind sometimes. I need some papers, I need hinges, so I don't cut away the entire thing right at the very beginning. I might hold on to them, and then I might decide to trim these off. So I'm not sure about this. So what I will do is so this is how it's going to look, and so I'm going to take this from here, and I'm going to add this paper over here. Now you must be wondering, why am I doing this? You'll see when I work on the journal. Okay, so this is how everything else. So this is how my signature or the papers are looking. Now I'm going to put this inside and see. Now you can see how everything is tucked inside, and then you can use this. Now, as I said, I'm going to give it some kind of shape with my hands. I'm not going to entirely score everything down because I don't want sharp edges. So I'll probably work on the cover with my hands just to give it a shape. So this is going to look like this, and mind you, this is going to bulge up once I start putting in pockets, ephemera, and fold out pages and stuff like that. So this is how it's looking, and I think I'm pretty happy with the way things are, and I will come in the third part and show you where and what kind of pockets I plan on using. But it's a total random work, like I work page by page. I don't work on the entire journal at one go, so it might take a while, it might take a number of parts. I hope you stick around and see how my brain works. Thank you everybody for watching this, and bye, have a great day.